Most cat owners believe that if their cat sleeps nearby or accepts a few pets, it automatically means love. But cats communicate affection in a completely different way than humans do. Some behaviors that seem harmless, or even cute, can actually reveal emotional distance, discomfort, or a lack of trust. Today we're going to walk through 15 surprising signs that your cat might not love you as much as you think. And stick around until the end, because we're also going to talk about what you can actually do about it. Before we start, a quick note. Cats evolved as solitary hunters. Unlike dogs, they rarely seek social contact unless they feel completely safe. That's why their signals are subtle and why so many owners end up misreading normal feline behavior. One single sign on this list means very little on its own. What actually matters is the pattern. If several of these behaviors keep appearing together over time, that's when it's worth paying attention. Every cat also has its own personality, so some of this will vary. Keep that in mind as we go through the list, because the final section is going to explain exactly how to rebuild that connection if a lot of this sounds familiar. Let's start at number 15. Your cat never seeks you out. There's a big difference between a cat that tolerates you and a cat that actually wants to be near you. If your cat only approaches when it's time for food and disappears the moment the bowl is empty, that's convenience, not affection. One of the clearest clues of real affection is voluntary interaction. A cat that genuinely enjoys your company will often wander over just to be near you with no motive at all. It might hop onto the couch, sit a few feet away, or follow you from room to room simply because it wants to. If that kind of moment never happens, it's worth paying attention to. Number 14. They always leave the moment you sit down. Watch what happens the instant you settle into a chair. Does your cat immediately get up and walk away? That kind of consistent avoidance can be a sign of discomfort around you specifically. Another behavior owners often overlook is the body language leading up to it. Flattened ears, a lowered body, or a quick tense exit are all signals worth reading. Of course, some cats are just naturally more active and restless, so this isn't a rule carved in stone. But if it happens every single time, it starts to say something. Number 13. They flinch when you try to touch them. A flinch or a sudden pull away, right as your hand approaches, usually means your cat is anticipating something unpleasant. At first glance, this might look like simple shyness. It's usually more than that. That anticipation often comes from past experiences, even ones you weren't responsible for. Ears turning sideways, a stiffening body, or a tail that suddenly stops moving are small warning signs that carry a lot of meaning. Number 12. They avoid eye contact. Here's where many people misread their cat completely. A slow blink from a cat is actually a sign of trust and comfort, almost like a small kiss. But a cat that consistently looks away or refuses to make eye contact at all may be dealing with fear, uncertainty, or emotional distance from you. If your cat holds your gaze and blinks slowly back at you, that's the opposite of what we're describing here. And it's a genuinely good sign. Number 11. They never sleep near you. In the wild, sleeping near another animal requires an enormous amount of trust. Sleep is the most vulnerable state a cat can be in, and cats are instinctively careful about where they let their guard down. A cat that trusts you will often choose to nap somewhere close, even if it's not directly in your lap. If your cat consistently sleeps in another room or as far from you as possible, that's a meaningful pattern. That said, some cats are naturally independent sleepers. So don't panic over this one alone. And the next sign is one almost every cat owner misunderstands. Number 10. Their tail shows constant irritation. A cat's tail is basically a mood indicator. Frequent flicking, thumping, or lashing while you're nearby usually points to tension rather than relaxation. Combine that with a tense body, flattened posture, or twitching skin along the back, and you're looking at a cat that isn't fully comfortable in your presence. These are hidden stress signals that a lot of owners simply don't notice. Number 9. They rarely purr around you. There's a common myth that purring always means happiness. That's not entirely true. Cats also purr when they're anxious or when they're trying to self-soothe. But in general, a cat that almost never purrs in your presence, especially compared to how it behaves with other people, is telling you something. Personality plays a role here too. So look at the whole picture rather than fixating on this sign by itself. Number 8. They hide whenever you enter the room. Occasional hiding is completely normal, especially in a busy household. But chronic hiding, specifically when you walk in, is a different story. That's not general caution. That's a direct reaction to you. Environmental factors can play a role too, like loud noises or recent changes at home, so it's worth ruling those out first. Still, if your presence alone consistently sends your cat running for cover, that pattern deserves attention. Number 7. They ignore you even during quiet moments. Indifference and independence are not the same thing. An independent cat might not want constant attention, but it still checks in, still glances your way, still shows some form of acknowledgement. A cat that consistently ignores you, even when the house is calm and there's nothing else going on, is missing those small bonding moments that build a relationship over time. Those quiet, in-between moments matter more than people realize. Number 6. They frequently swat or bite without warning. This one often comes down to overstimulation or a breakdown in communication. Cats usually give warning signs before swatting or biting, things like ear position, tail movement, or a stiffening body. If those warnings are consistently missed, or if the reaction seems disproportionate to what's happening, it may point to boundaries that aren't being respected, even unintentionally. Learning to read those earlier signals can completely change this dynamic. Number 5. They reject treats from your hand. Food is deeply tied to trust in the animal world. A cat that hesitates, backs away, or refuses to take a treat directly from your hand, but happily eats from a bowl, is showing a specific kind of caution around you. Stress can also play a role here, so context matters. But if this happens consistently and only with you, it's worth thinking about what might be causing that hesitation. But the biggest mistakes come at number 1, so stay with us. Number 4. They never rub against you. Rubbing is a form of scent marking, and it's one of the clearest signals of social bonding in cats. When a cat rubs its cheek or body against you, it's essentially saying you're part of its trusted circle. If this almost never happens, even after a long time living together, that's meaningful. This isn't about demanding constant physical affection. It's about the complete absence of a behavior that usually signals closeness. Number 3. They constantly choose other people. Cats do form preferences, and that's completely normal. But watch the pattern closely. If your cat consistently gravitates towards someone else in the household every single time while actively avoiding you, that predictability is telling you something about where it feels most emotionally secure. It's not about jealousy. It's about noticing where the comfort clearly lies. Number 2. They seem relaxed only when you're gone. Some owners have noticed their cat behaving completely differently when they're not home. More playful, more relaxed, more willing to explore. If you have any way of observing this, whether through a camera or just a change in your cat's demeanor right when you leave, it can be a strong stress indicator. Try to look at your cat's behavior as objectively as possible without taking it personally in the moment. And finally, number 1. Interestingly, the strongest sign isn't something your cat does. It's something they never do. They never show signs of trust. Trust in cats shows up through very specific behaviors. Exposing their belly, even briefly. Slow blinking. Following you from room to room. Grooming themselves near you or occasionally trying to groom you. A relaxed, loose body posture around you. Sleeping with their back turned toward you, which is actually one of the biggest signs of vulnerability and safety a cat can offer. The biggest indicator isn't aggression, and it isn't avoidance. It's the complete absence of trust. If none of these signals are present at all, that absence matters far more than any single negative behavior on this list. It's not about one bad sign that defines the relationship. It's the quiet, consistent lack of these small indicators of trust. Now, if a lot of this sounded familiar, don't panic and definitely don't take it personally. Cats are not humans. And their trust isn't built the same way ours is. It's built slowly, through repetition and predictability, not through grand gestures. The first step is simple. Don't force affection. Every forced interaction, every scoop up when your cat clearly doesn't want it, chips away at trust instead of building it. Let your cat come to you on its own terms and respect its personal space, even when you want to be closer. Consistency is the next piece. Try to create predictable routines around feeding, play, and quiet time. Cats feel safer when they know what to expect from their environment and from you specifically. Interactive play makes a huge difference too. Wand toys, laser pointers, anything that lets your cat engage its natural hunting instincts alongside you rather than being handled directly can build a completely different kind of bond. Positive reinforcement matters as well. Rewarding calm, voluntary interaction with treats or gentle praise teaches your cat to associate your presence with good things rather than unpredictability. And maybe most importantly, take the time to actually learn your cat's individual communication style. Every cat expresses comfort and discomfort a little differently, and once you start reading those specific signals, you'll understand so much more about what it actually wants from you. None of this happens overnight. It can take weeks, sometimes months of consistent, patient effort before you start to see real changes. But that patience pays off. A loving relationship with a cat isn't built in a single afternoon, and it was never going to be. One sign alone never proves anything. It's the consistent pattern over time that actually tells the real story. Every cat has its own personality, its own history, and its own pace when it comes to trust. Understanding their language, rather than expecting them to understand yours, is really the first step toward earning something genuine. So the next time you watch your cat move through a room, try observing rather than judging. You might be surprised how much they're actually telling you once you finally know how to listen.